time to do another vlog, but this time on the advice of friends. I've been looking at the screen, you see, quite a lot, like the screen, not the camera. They say look at the camera, so I'm going to try. So is it better, is the screen or the camera? It's quite intense, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to go with the camera. I'm going to try and go with the camera. I'm going to give you a little tour, very little tour of my drum cabin where I practice. Got my drums, my drum kit here, my lovely Pink Floyd inspired Don't Look at the Overgrown Garden. Need to get out there and do gardening, but I'm too busy drumming. Pink Floyd inspired fairy lights. Over here, keyboard. That belonged to my grandfather. Quite a fan of lava lamps and fairy lights, and my percussion. Yeah. A sofa bed for if I can't make it back to the house because I'm just too tired from all my drum practice. I can crash here. My wall, that's Argentina, Porto Marino Glacier. In the days before children, drumming, all of that stuff, but a lot of travel. China on the wall from a friend of mine. My desk, and that completes the cabin tour. Now I'm going to do some practice and show you what I've been trying to achieve and learning this week. Very rough, as you'll see. It's a work in progress. Let's just say that. Okay, I've warmed up, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to practice this week. I think that is good, and I think the camera is rolling. Okay, so a bit of a background to this is that I've got a gig in September. I've been asked to drum actually for an album. It's a relaunch. It's a charity album. There's a fantastic charity run by a friend of mine called Just Enough UK, and they released an album a few years ago, and the music's great, and the guy Phil Knight that wrote it, he and who runs the charity, is a drummer, and he's also a bass player, and he wrote the album. And he asked me, he was also, did I mention my first drum teacher? I might have just mentioned that. And he kind of taught me the start of my drumming journey. He would come in here and he would play the bass. And I would just jam along, and that was kind of my introduction. And I remember going to see him at perform one of these Just Enough shows about two or 3 years ago, literally just when I'd begun drumming, and I thought, oh wow, that's amazing. I'd love to do that one day. Didn't tell him that at the time. I don't think I ever have. And I remember when he started to teach me, he said, "Well, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to do as a drummer?" And I didn't have the balls to say, "I want to do a show and I want to drum it like you." I said, "Oh, I just want to be able to kind of go out and play a few songs, and that's it." So anyway, to cut a long story short, he asked me to drum. He's going to be on bass, there's going to be a big band, and he asked me to drum in this album relaunch. So I literally bit his hand off. I was amazed and surprised and obviously flattered to be asked. Thank you very much, Phil. And I've been practicing for the last, well, good few weeks, because it's got the songs are quite challenging in lots of ways, tempo, but also the kind of different rhythms that I've had to learn. And as a kind of a beginner learner drummer, it's certainly been a challenge. So I'm going to show you what I've been working on this week, which if you're a drummer, you should be interested in. If you're a good drummer, you're watching this and you're probably thinking, oh, there's so many, you know, that's so basic or that's so this, but it's a challenge for me. If you're not a drummer, you'll probably think, oh, that's quite good. If you're not a drummer and you're watching this, and you're not a musician and you're watching this, you must be a friend of mine. So I love you, thank you. So okay, so this is what I've been doing. They're it's two different songs, but I'm going to show you. So the first is like I had to learn this kind of Bo Diddley style beat rhythm for a section, a couple of bars in a song, but it's a very fast tempo and it's kind of a fill thing. So I remember when I first was learning it, I was thinking, I'm never even, you know, the other day I had the sticking and I was like, okay, and I ran over it with my teacher Kyle, and I was like, oh, I just can't get it. It's like, and I was like, oh, I can't even get the rhythm, you know, let alone the sticking or anything. And then the other day I just sat down for half an hour. I was like, I'm not going until I'm not going until I can do this. And I managed to do it. So let me think in my head first, because I've, you know, got advice. Get it in your head first. So, you know, da 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 ba da da. It's like George and Michael Faith. So ba ba da 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 ba. Okay, that's the rhythm. So it started off quite slow. I needed to get it a lot faster, so I just sat there and I'm just trying to increase the speed, but obviously not lose the rhythm. So you know, this is what I've been practicing. I'm just showing you. It's probably quite boring. I'll probably edit a lot of this out. So that's what I'm obviously trying to practice and incorporate it into the groove of the song. And the other thing, for another song that I've got to practice, which I find even harder, is this, like, I think they call it 16th note pattern. That might be wrong. On the hi-hat. So slowly, again, in the last few days, I've just been able to manage it. Kind of my technique's all over the place. I'm a bit tense doing it. But this is it. But I've got to get it way fast, so much faster. But I'll start off by doing it slow. Okay, so. See? It's also getting the bass and the snare in the right place. That's flame. Then when I start to get faster, it goes wrong, so then I've got to bring it back again. It's a bit like when you go for a run, you're trying to increase your speed, which I so need to do as well, one thing at a time. And you know, you're trying to increase your speed. I've just been realising, I've been looking at I'm not looking at the camera, I've been looking at something else, the the thumb thing. Okay, so it's like I've got to increase my speed, and you've got to do it in interval sessions. So slow, and then. You see how uneven that sounds? It's got to be smooth. Very hard, very awkward. I need to get the muscle memory working. And then after I've done that, I just want to go like nuts on something I can do. So that's what I've been practicing today, and that's what I'm going to practice now. Not that. Ah, but that feels so nice. After. Rock on, I will do it.